What's up, Head of the Sword? Welcome back to the channel. So today let's talk a little bit about Tales of the Empire. Today we're talking about Arc 1, which was all about Morgan Elsbeth. Now Morgan was introduced to us in Mandalorian season number 2, and this is when Ahsoka travels to the world of Corvus, and she interacts with Morgan, and it kind of leaves us thinking that maybe she was killed. She then reappears in the Ahsoka series, and then we do see that she finally is killed in the season finale. What we are doing here in this brand new animation show is that we're going to get a little bit of the backstory of how Morgan actually got involved with the Empire. Now, I'm not going to sit here and break the entire thing down. If you want to check out my full breakdown, me and my co-host ended up breaking this whole thing down last Sunday, so I'll put a link up here for you. What I want to do in today's video is I want to talk about how I feel about this arc, and also about how many people out there do not like the series as a whole. Now, I think that Tales of the Jedi was almost like a new standard, because Dave Filoni did such an amazing job producing and just coming up with that storyline with Dooku. And we saw the young Ahsoka and how she kind of led up to becoming into the Jedi Order. And I think the backstory of Morgan Elsbeth, I watched it twice. The first time, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I originally had given it like an 8 out of 10, which is still a pretty high score. After re-watching it and really watching what happened and the conversations, I'll tell you what, man, I think this is just as good as Tales of the Jedi. And I think Morgan Elsbeth is a great character. As many characters that come back to life in Star Wars, this is the one I would like her to come back. Because I think, first of all, Diana Lee Ensenado is absolutely fantastic. And I also believe that her character has more to do. I don't like that they killed her off, that they kind of just ended that. This is a character that could have carried over to kind of have her run with Thrawn throughout whatever we're doing here in the Mandalorian universe. Now, if they decide to bring Morgan back to life, I can already see it. I see the memes. I see the YouTube titles. Somehow Morgan returned, right? Like, we all know that's going to happen, right? It just depends how they do it. You know, clearly we have some choices here. They can easily use Night Sister magic and either reanimate her, you know, bring her back somehow. I would have no problem with it personally, because like I said, I do enjoy the character. I like the backstory. I love the fact that she's the one who came up with this grand idea to create the TIE Defenders. I love it. And that goes right into Rebels. Now, what I want to see, though, is where was she at during Rebels? I mean, was she literally on Corvus the entire time? In the 3-episode arc we get, it almost seems like she has been there for quite a while. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, I get it that this character was created after Star Wars Rebels, you know, was finished. So it's just a newer character. So they had to figure out something to do with her as far as, you know, where was she during Rebels? I mean, I guess it's not out of the question that she could have just basically lived there the entire time. But again, I mean, you know how Thrawn is always wanting to know how things are going. And, you know, we obviously never saw that. But I just think that they did a nice job filling in some of her backstory. I would love to see more. I really would. You know, there's a lot we didn't see. You know, the opening sequence in that series, I mean, if Grievous was that much of a badass in Revenge of the Sith, like, dude, Grievous would have been one of the best characters. But he has that stupid cough. He doesn't really do anything, and he basically just gets killed by Obi-Wan Kenobi. And, you know, and don't forget that stupid cough. Horrible. I don't know what that decision was about. But the animated series Clone Wars, and obviously this episode that he's in, amazing how much they changed this character. You know, it stinks though, because you're watching that, and then we get what we get in Revenge of the Sith. That was a great episode. I like the fact that they show her as a not a young kid, because she's obviously in the war fighting, and they show her, you know, seeing her mother die and the reason why she kind of makes that turn. And you know, I personally felt like, so Grievous comes down, right, with the droid army, which eventually that is the core group for the most part that does become the Empire. Basically, you know, if the Empire was around, Grievous probably would have been part of it. I don't know if so much he would have been working with the Separatists and the droid army. I mean, he obviously was trained by Dooku for a reason. What I would really love is to see, did she have any type of relationship with Asajj Ventress, you know, who technically is still alive right now, because we know that from the Bad Batch. So they're both around in this time period. And I think that would be a pretty neat little show. I don't know, man. I thought with the Bad Batch finale, I kind of thought that they kind of got rid of Omega. And I mean, she's now a Rebel pilot. I see no reason to go back to that. I really don't know if we're going to see Omega again. And if we do, I just hope it's more like in the future. Maybe she pops up in live action in Mando. But I don't need to see Omega now, like training with Asajj. I feel like that's already gone, and I'm really confused why they even brought that into Bad Batch. Not to talk about Bad Batch and all that. Again, I have videos all over that season, but I just don't understand why they brought her in if they weren't going to do anything with that whole storyline. And obviously, they still could. I personally just, at this point, because we know what happens with Omega, I don't see a reason to make her force sensitive or, you know, train her in the ways of the Jedi or whatever. Going back to Morgan, I would love to see more, probably in that time period between like the end of the Bad Batch and then like kind of like the end of the Rebels, because I'm curious to see, you know, did she literally just sit in Corvus all this time and create this army? And I don't know. So again, I really enjoyed the arc. I thought it was done very, very well. I love seeing Thrawn. He looked a little bit different. I get he's younger. It was a little bit off for me. But overall, I mean, Lars Mikkelsen is absolutely incredible as that character. And I'm just glad to get more Thrawn, because I'm all into that. And I just, again, going back to Ahsoka for a minute, I just kind of wish they would have done more with Thrawn in that series, because I just thought he was kind of just standing there and doesn't really do anything. And his master plan was weak, in my opinion. To finish off this video, guys, I do think that Morgan turning to the Empire and then doing what she does on Corvus, I think it would make the story interesting. I actually rewatched the Mandalorian Season 2 episode where we see her in Ahsoka, and it makes sense. I love the fact that they burned all the trees. The only thing I could think of is that they did that because she doesn't want people to come to raid the planet for, you know, whatever the resources would be that the trees produced or whatever. Because obviously in Mando Season 2, the entire planet is very much burned up. So I thought that was kind of cool that we got that. All right, guys. Well, you can look for my Barriss Offee video in the next couple of days. I'll be dropping that. And then on Sunday at a special time at 6:30 p.m., I'll be live. I'll be breaking down that Barriss Offee episode. We'll talk about it, and it's going to be a fun live. So come on by, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me know down in the comments, what did you guys think about Morgan Elsbeth's arc? Did you like it? What grade are you giving it? And do you want to see her come back to live action? All right, guys, don't forget to smash the like on the way out of here. Don't forget to keep those heads on, and I'll see you in the next video.